Drew, first off, thank you again for being with me.
You're welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm recovering nicely thanks to Orange Park Medical Center. So yeah, we're recovering very well. Looking forward to the future.
Hearing those nurses and those doctors talk about everything that you went through and talking about what they went through to save your life, what is that like hearing them talk about that?
It's emotional because a lot of the stuff that they talked about I didn't know. Like I said, for most of the stuff I was unconscious, and every day I put a little bit more of a piece of the puzzle together. From the time I got here to the time I left, there was several weeks where I have no memory of what was going on whatsoever.
What was the total time you were here at Orange Park?
I got here on September 31st, and then I left the inpatient rehab facility we're at now on October 31st. Okay.
And the day that it happened, what do you remember from that day?
So I remember a large portion of the day. I remember coming out of Publix, getting lunch, and I was on my way out, and then the suspect yelled, "I blanking hate cops." He approached me from my back right side. So when I heard that, I knew it was going to be violence against a police officer. I knew what was coming, and then that's whenever he started shooting. He hit me the first time in my upper chest, and then as the bullets turned my body, and then I turned trying to draw my weapon. He hit me, like I said, 5 times, once in the buttocks, both legs, and once in my left forearm. And then I immediately went down on the ground, had my weapon out, and was waiting for him to come back around. And then that's when somebody come back and told me that the threat had been eliminated.
Oh, a few weeks ago did an interview with Deputy Hawkins,
right,
who was the first officer on the scene.
Right.
Do you remember interacting with him and him helping you?
I do. I remember reports, and I remember him being there and saying, "This is Jake Hawkins," and we had talked this weekend, as a matter of fact, and he was telling me a part that I didn't remember at the time, but I do remember now, was he was looking for holes in my body. He had just finished a medic course, and he put his finger in the hole in the side, and he told me I did a full push-up with him on my back, and that's when he told me to calm down, and they got me on the stretcher and into the ambulance.
And being able to have a relationship with him now, what is that like? It's
fantastic. He's a great guy. And everybody was on scene, Rusty, and then Stacy Matheson was the paramedic who kept me going from the time they got me into the ambulance and then to Orange Park. He was the one that kept me going, kept me alive.
Being here for all that time at the hospital, I'm sure you were full of several different emotions. Mm-hmm. Kind of talk about those emotions. When did you feel scared? Did you feel confused? Kind of, when did those emotions come up?
I don't know if I ever felt scared or not. I definitely felt confused. My motivation was to get well and get back to work. That was my only motivation. I was probably scared the most when I was riding the ambulance on the way. I never at one point thought I was going to die, but I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I felt my fingers, I felt my toes, I knew I wasn't paralyzed. I was very happy about that. And then from the time I came into the emergency room, so I'm kind of a clown. I came in, they pushed me through the emergency room entrance, and I looked around and said, well, this is one way to skip the line. And then I saw my supervisor there, Steve Wood, and I said, "Hey Woody, how you doing?" And he just looked at me and started crying and said he's doing fine. And then I don't really remember anything until they woke me up a couple weeks later.
You said that to him as you hadn't even gotten into the operating room yet.
No, they were still, I was just coming through the door, and that's when I saw him there. And yeah, so we just, it's just who I am. I just make jokes sometimes. So, and then after that, like I said, I don't remember anything until they pulled the intubation tube out of me. And then I had some ICU delirium, and so that the next 10 days after they woke me up is kind of touch and go. But I don't remember being scared. I remember saying, I got to do whatever I got to do to heal and to get out of the hospital. That was my #1 goal.
And you mentioned getting back to work. Why is that so important to you?
It's just, I feel like if I'm not there, that I'm letting people down. I mean, guys are having to pull my weight now that I'm not there. and I don't think that's not right. So I need to get back, and I need to pull my own weight and get back on the front lines. It's where I need to be. It's where I'm at my best.
Do you feel nervous at all about going back?
No, not at all. I also want to go back and educate my brothers and sisters on a thin blue line about, a lot of guys think that this can never happen to them. So part of my duties when I go back will be to travel around and talk about the incident and maybe change the guys and girls' points of view of how they look at how they carry themselves in public.
What has gotten you through all of this?
The community, my family, my wife Amanda. I don't know what I would have done without them. My family has just been a massive amount of support. Nobody's here local. My mom lives in Myrtle Beach. My dad lives in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's just but the amount of friends that I have here that I've made over the 17 years I've lived in Jacksonville, constantly showing up. Everybody's helping me, and they have kept me going. The constant rotation of family coming down to visit. So my mom's coming back down on Christmas Day, and then my nephews, whom I haven't seen since the incident, and my sister and her husband. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's what keeps me going and makes me want to push the recovery along so I can get back to normal, especially whenever they get in town.
Physically, right now, you look like you're walking fine. Do you have any pain still, or what are you struggling at all still? I have some pain. I still have the wound that basically goes from the bottom of my chest to the top of my belt. There's still a large wound there. That is some pain, but it's not huge, and so it's very easily manageable with a ibuprofen every couple days. But other than that, I'm not in any pain at all. And what is physical therapy like? How much longer will you be doing that? Probably through the end of December. Physical therapy has helped me a ton with my flexibility, my strength, and my balance. And the folks here, the physical therapists, have been nothing short of phenomenal. And you're back in the gym already? Yes, I go to a CrossFit gym, and the days I don't do physical therapy, I'll do very light workouts there until I can get my endurance back, my strength back, and can participate with the rest of the class. Okay. Christmas right around the corner. What is this Christmas going to be like for you? It's going to be pretty special. Like I said, I'm going to have my family in town for the first time in years, probably 5 or 6 years since I've spent Christmas with my family. So it's going to be a good one. Okay. Anything else you want to add, or am I missing anything? Anything you want to ask, I'm good with. So it's up to you. And I know you mentioned, it's just emotional for you to hear from those nurses and the doctors. What will that relationship be like for you from here on out? Well, we'll continue moving forward with it, and hopefully as I get better, then I'll be able to come back and visit them and let them see, and maybe other patients see that as if any of them are watching this clip right now and somebody gets injured later, I can come back and say, listen, you're going to be okay here. These folks are going to put you back together, and you're going to get back to living a normal life. Okay. I think that's it, unless I'm missing anything, or? Lee? Oh, Lee, my wound care nurse. So she's been taking care of me for 2 times a week for the past couple of months, and she has absolutely nursed my large wound back to health. And without her and her expertise in wound care, well, I don't know where I would be, but she's been fantastic. So a lot of incredible people taking care of you. Unbelievable. The whole staff here is just stacked with fine people.